all about. I remember in our last event in Dubai, sitting outside of the leadership event, and they began, and listen, they've traveled the world. They're able to work from different countries and different oceans and different mountains because they've built financial freedom through this Daisy opportunity. But when they were telling me why they are in Daisy, and when they were telling me how they see the Daisy business model, I said, I've never heard anyone understand it and explain it the way they just did. And so we invited them to be our next speakers here today. And I think you're gonna love what they have to say. And I believe that if you'll open your hearts, open your minds, I believe in this next session, you're gonna understand not just the heart of Daisy, but the power of the business model that Daisy has, because there is no other project in the world that is as disruptive and as powerful for your income potential than the Daisy opportunity. So guys, let's welcome to stage Bren and Susan.
City, we have to say it's one of the most phenomenal places we've had the privilege of visiting. Your culture, your welcoming hospitality has been incredible. We plan to stay here for a full 5 weeks just to really explore, but we'd just like to say, first of all, you've heard some incredible knowledge already, but what you're about to hear from us, we will share a bit about our story, but we're going to make this about you. We're going to give you something actionable, a framework that you can work from to actually take away with you and deploy in your business to amplify your results. Because at the end of the day, you know, a rising tide raises all boats. The more you win, the more we win, and vice versa. So we call this the elevation marketing model, and it's a proven 3-step formula to attract and retain your ideal community, to thrive and grow and build that loyalty and really sustain your business long term. We're going to obviously touch on what Jeremy said. You're going to hear us think out loud and share the reasons that resonated with us, why we decided to align with this project, and what we say to other people to compel them, whether they're a passive contributor or an active builder. So,
before we dive into it, Ilya's jacket is really amazing, isn't it?
It sure is.
And absolutely, as Bren said, honored, first of all, to be asked to be up here and speak with you, humbled, and absolutely loving Budapest. What a beautiful city.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thrilled to be here. So this model that Bren mentioned that we're going to talk about, and I want to go back to Carol. Thank you for asking us to speak, but she says, share your personal success story. How did you guys succeed? And right away we go and we are discussing it as we discuss everything. Well, what should we say? Well, and we just went to default. We would rather talk about you. We would rather serve than talk about ourselves. We just don't like talking about ourselves. Well, why don't we share how we did it?
One moment, please. We need a clicker.
Oh. And while he's getting the clicker. So anyway, so that's how we came to sharing the model. It's duplicatable. It's a model that we've been using each individually for 12 years, and now together as we work and build our communities together for 5 years. So it works, it's simple, and you can do it too. We have the clicker now.
We have.
So it starts with the power of 3, because the power of 3 is very powerful. So 3 R's: reach, resonate, and relate. Set up in that. And before we get into what those 3 R's are, we applied time, focus, and consistency. Can you all agree that to make anything work, to succeed in anything, those 3 components are absolutely necessary, right?
And for us, I mean, even when it comes to focus, You can count on 2 fingers the amount of things we've aligned ourselves with in the last 5 years. We're very selective. We do a lot of due diligence, research and sifting and sorting through the marketplace. And, you know, we take our reputation seriously in what we put our brand to. So that focus and power, we see a lot of people with shiny object syndrome that are hopping around in crypto casinos that are here today and gone tomorrow, promise to pay programs that have no longevity, no sustainability. But when you dilute your focus and power, you can't chase 2 rabbits and catch both of them. When you hone your focus and power, it's a very powerful energy. That allows you to compress time frames, and it allows you to accomplish a lot more in a short space of time. And with consistency, you can't achieve any of that without discipline. So some days you're not going to feel like it, but your ability to make yourself do what you need to do when you need to do it, whether you feel like it or not, it's going to carry you all the way. So I'm going to touch on reach here. You can think of reach as in attraction, essentially. We always start, and we have started with anything that we do, with defining our customer avatar. We get very clear with who we want to work with, who we want to even have around us, because you know, energy is contagious. We define our ideal customer. These are people that we really want to work with long term, build a lifelong relationship with. We get very clear in what age they are, the disposable income they have. Their pain points, their struggles, once we're very clear on that, it's very easy to speak to them, relate to them and resonate with them in our content. So we reach them through targeted audience. We don't use shotgun marketing, blasting the message to everyone. We use refined laser sniper rifle marketing to hone in on our ideal audience. Once we then create the content to create that magnetism in the marketplace and attract them out of the crowd, primarily over the last 12-15 years through search traffic, which has been one of our most reliable means of doing so, because some of the advantages of search traffic is that you're joining the conversation in your prospect's mind. You're the hunted and not the hunter. They're coming to you, you're not the one doing the chasing, and they already know, like, and trust you before they even arrive to have that conversation. So it's been very effective, it's scalable, it's evergreen, and it's perpetual, because the content you create continues to work for you. And then most of you in the room, or some of you, may have a warm market, and a lot of you, if you've dragged them through the dirt in these types of programs, you know, maybe you've burned some of your reputation, but you need to be constantly feeding and growing your warm market. So you're bringing people in cold, you know, there might be tepid, eventually they're hot to you, they're warm to you. And you can have all the trust in the world, but you need to have desire as well, because you can't sell meat to a vegetarian. You know, you need to have both of those things aligned in order for a conversion to take place. So starting right at the front, if you're clear on who you want to talk to in the first place, all the way down the pipeline, you're going to have incredible results. So this is how we initially reach people. And Susan, do you want to elaborate on anything?
Just one thing. Yeah. Sometimes it's one simple question. Who would benefit the most? All of you witnessed, once again, as time and time again, Avisa talks about and talks from the perspective of the people who would benefit but have smaller amounts of money to get started. And so that is a question that we often ask, since we lead with benefit, lead with value. Who would benefit, and how would they like to hear it? And reach them in their space, their need, their solution, and that brings us to resonate. So in order to resonate with people where they're at, who they are, where they live, their economic situation, all of the components of the people, we lead with value, speaking it in what we think would resonate with them mostly, and that's what's in it for them. Because that's the number one question, whether people ask it or not. We know what's in it for me. That's what all of us are thinking. That's what we are thinking. What's in it for me? So let's speak to that. What's in it for them? And let's go, excuse me, let's go back to the first presentation. Richard and Carol, how amazing was that overview and that presentation? And that's where they were coming from with that, leading with the numbers, what's in it for them. And as Bren mentioned as well, with, excuse me, with the reach is a solution to the pain. Our economic situation is really becoming evident for everyone, isn't it? Everyone's starting to feel it, and it's not just you should put your money to work for you. It's becoming an absolute need, not even just to live, let alone to thrive or to elevate your lifestyle and your well-being. You absolutely need what Daisy has to offer, and it's nowhere else. So in so many ways, and we're going to get to those points, we have a solution to the pain of the masses that they have no access to. And that leads us into relating. So we're building relationships. This is the follow-up part. You've reached them, you've resonated with them already, you have their attention, and you're building relationships. You build trust through transparency, honesty, humility, and humor, just being real. And identify with them through storytelling. And we're going to end our session with some examples of stories that we use. Real stories, some of them are stories, but most of them community stories. And we leverage all of the Daisy community stories and the results. And really, a lot of our storytelling is about our three founders, how they show up all the time. We tell stories of that so that people can feel that and really relate to, they want to be a part of a community like that. And Dr. Anna Becker, we speak of the four of them as if they're in our family, in our community, because they are, aren't they?
And storytelling is very powerful. You bypass, a lot of the critical mind. We've used it for eons to transfer knowledge throughout history with the emergence of the spoken language, and you're really tapping into the emotional mind of a prospect. It's even one layer beyond relating. They're actually going all the way to identifying, because the protagonist, the hero's journey, they're identifying with the person in that story. They see themselves there. We'll talk on that a bit later too. What really is a product? What are you actually selling? And how are you benefiting someone? Because nobody buys products. They're buying outcomes they're buying access to a future version of themselves. But we'll talk about that more later. Comment to each phase, Susan.
Sharing the benefits. So all the way through, right from reach on through, resonate and relate, we lead with the benefits. Then we talk about what. What is Daisy? Who is behind it? How does it work? How does Daisy work? Who is Endotech? How does it work? And why? We definitely dive into the why. In fact, we often refer people back to Dr. Anna Becker's, I believe it was the first event in Dubai, which she really shared her passion and her heart for why she wants to create the AI, why she said yes. And we pull in lots of the moments of, again, Jeremy, Edward, and Ilya. Why? And then we get to the facts, simplify them, decipher them, and always back it up with verifiable data, which is easy with Daisy because it's all documented and transparent.
Yeah, and we're going to share with you something very soon here that really does simplify a critical point in the decision-making process and getting a person involved in Daisy. So when we're highlighting Daisy, when we're sharing Daisy, when we're speaking about it, whether it's here, people we're meeting in Budapest, or through digital marketing, or the traditional forms of advertising media, whatever avenue we're using to reach people, some of the things we focus on, we basically break it into two categories. First of all, we speak to everyone, we lead with the product. We don't mention compensation plans, reward plans, or anything like that. Some programs out there rely on that because they're thin air. It's smoke and mirrors. There is nothing else. That's the only thing that's attracting anyone. But the product here is so solid, or the concept is so solid, that it in of itself is compelling enough to instigate action from people. And all contributors receive profits. The product itself makes people money. That's crucial. That's like putting golden handcuffs around your income, because just as Jeremy touched on, just to echo his sentiments, there's a lot of the illusion of residual income. You're selling something where you have, and Susan's going to get into this in a moment, but you're...
Wait, we're not talking about that yet.
Yeah,
Wait.
don't take... it's built for longevity and sustainability. Again, it comes back to these crypto casino programs with Ponzi-preneurs that run around jumping from one thing to another. You know, it's hurting the people that's following you, it's hurting you. I don't care if people don't like me for saying that, but it's the reality. You want to, you know, stand your ground, what you believe in, what you stand for. Get behind something that's rock solid. You don't need a million and one things. Sure, multiple streams of income, but one at a time. Build it, scale it to a point where it can set you free. Once people understand that, another thing that, one of the reasons we chose this product is we're always thinking, you know, the guy that bought 40 horses the day before Henry Ford released the Model T, he made a mistake. We're always thinking, where is the world going? Where are all markets merging to? How can we future-proof our income? How can we build something that's here to last? And that's if you're in a saturated or declining market, you want to be capitalizing on multiple markets that are emerging right now. And Daisy synergistically combines many of them into one, under one roof. We've got the blockchain, we've got artificial intelligence, we've got immutable codified laws like smart contracts. We've a lot of things that are hot right now, that are trending right now, and they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. The blockchain technology is weaving its way into the fabric of finance and all types of industries throughout the world. So you're building on top of a rock-solid foundation that's always going to be attractive, and how attractive it is continuing to grow. So, Susan, you're up.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
So the number one thing that we highlight with the rewards plan, and we only start talking about the rewards plan, as Bren mentioned, when if they ask, if they raise their hand, or we already know that they're a leader and they want to dive into it. We want them to focus, first of all, as a contributor, their benefits of the profits and equity first. So once they do, the first thing we say is instant commissions up front. You don't have to request a payout or wait or hope that it's processed correctly on the other side. And you don't have to wait until you reach your next rank to get a pay increase. It's instant, immediately, through the blockchain, transparent. You know it's coming, when it's coming, and there it's in your wallet. People love that. They're already at a yes when we tell them that. And then there's the favorite part, and I think Jeremy mentioned this when he introduced us up to come and speak with you, and that is what we sing all the time, and it's so easy to share it because it literally excites us. It's the unicorn that every company that is built peer-to-peer has been aiming for, wishing for, brags that they have. Compounding residual income. It doesn't exist anywhere else, so how could you not talk about it? We lead with that before they have any details about the rewards plan. They're a yes, grappling at it. How do I build? How do I get in touch with it? In fact, some of our passive contributors have decided to build because of the power of this. And it's 100% retention, no auto ships, no monthly shipments. You don't have to remember to take a lotion, potion, or pill. Yeah, people are just going to stay. And one team, multiple streams of income. Never been done before. It's not anywhere else. So we lead with that. Immutable organization.
Yeah, you're building your organization one time on the blockchain. It's hard-coded to you. I mean, how many of you started building the team 2.5 years ago and you wake up to commissions from people buying liquid mining units? Yeah. You didn't have to go out there and start again from scratch and roll up your sleeves and hustle to bring in new sales into a new structure. It's all hard-coded in the blockchain. It can't be taken away from you. So that infallibility was very attractive to us as well.
Yeah.
So that's a game changer. You saw the phenomenal results here in the presentation today. You know, that moves people to action. And one thing that we teach often is the power of the compound effect, where the money that your money is earning you more money. Even a modest amount of capital, venture capital, over time can turn into a considerable amount.
It is so unified because, as Carol was mentioning, one team, we all work together, and part of that is because of the structure of all of it. So each individual contributor earns profits with the amount that they've contributed to the fund, and everybody elevates along with that with income. And so there is no, oh, you're not in my downline, so I'm not sharing any secrets with you. It's really literally built in, hard-coded into the blockchain that we should work together. We literally are all one team. But then each individual leader that's building an organization can know that they only have to build their organization once, and every new project they will receive the rewards from. So the one team, multiple streams of income has so many meanings to it.
Absolutely. And just like you said, it solves a lot of the pain points that leaders that we speak to, stuff that burns them out, and they're constantly trying to churn out new sales volume to maintain a rank as it continues to fall away. They're dealing with attrition, but you don't have any of those issues here. Now, Susan, do you want to introduce this?
Sure. How we do one thing is how we do all things. Well, most of us are like that. And so we like to work in structure, systems, and processes. And that is what has created our success. And since it's so duplicatable, and since that's the best way to help our organization, we build systems and processes. And one of the systems that we built here with Daisy is the most significant component for our success.
Absolutely, and that is the onboarding. That's that point when a person has made the decision. They want to join, they want to get started, but now they're met with 1,000,001 friction points that could stop them in their tracks and halt their progress as their buy-in temperature continues to go down. So with the right system, you're leveraging your time. You don't need to continually, if you're trading time for money and continually, hand-holding people through the sign-up process, you're not focused on money needle moving activities, income producing activities. It's just busy work for the most part. It's something that you should be delegating and systemizing and automating. And so when we step in, if we see a void in that process, we usually fill it and create it with streamlined step-by-step video or written guidance that takes even a brand new prospect by the hand and guides them through everything they need to know to get signed up and set up, even if they're brand new to the world of cryptocurrency. So this is a big deal, but another reason it's a big deal is if you're a builder, systems obviously duplicate, they fuel duplication, and if you have a leader that comes in and they don't have to reinvent the wheel, they don't have to learn everything and create this content themselves, they can hit the ground running very fast. And that's obviously going to have an impact on your results in your organization. And we have made this available to everybody at joindaisy.global. This is not exclusive to our team. We could have done that, but again, the more you win, the more we win. The rising tide raises all boats. And this is, don't worry, this is completely generic. There's no breadcrumbs or traffic leaks or trails that lead back to us. We don't even mention our name in there, and we've done that on purpose. Again,
just Bren's very unique, incredible voice.
Just to really elevate the community as a whole. And everything's in there, guys. I mean, we've literally a calculator where you type in how many tiers you're buying, you tick a box. If you're going to buy momentum tiers, it's going to tell you how much USDT and Tron you need, how much energy you need to rent. It's going to do all the calculations for you. And everything is in there, so be sure to check it out. I know there's a lot of teams in the room actually, and some individuals that are speaking later that are already utilizing and leveraging this, and you're free to do so as well. So that's our gift to you. Go ahead and check it out. You have free and open reign to pull down the videos, translate them, do whatever you want to do. So.
Woo!
And we're on our ending slide, but we've a few minutes left, so we're just going to spitball a few other things.
Share some stories. Well, is this timer right? Are we on time? It says -7.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can story tell for 5 minutes. Okay, right. So this onboarding funnel is an example of the experience, and a part of the experience of Daisy and why Japan has done that so well is sharing the story and creating the experience. And we're telling stories of what's happened in the first 2.5, we're on to, in February we'll be at 3 years. And it's that experience that helps people make their initial decision, and that their initial experience is going to propel them to enjoy the rest of the experience, to tell the story of the experience, and that's really what it's all about. So that's partly why we wanted to share the onboarding. That leads us into, so why did we join Daisy, and why are we such advocates, and why do we love being here? It really is about the highlights that we said, but also then the experience. So it was the people behind that.
Yeah, and I guess we could preface it by saying, success is not a straight line. You're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have, especially when you're pioneering uncharted territory like these amazing founders are. And that's something you need. They have very thick skin. They're very powerful people. But Susan, do you want to lead? Just share with people a bit, where we came from, why we chose to align this, and a bit about our journey, the story.
Yeah. So we had been through a handful of, actually it was 4 in a row, companies and opportunities that seemed to initially follow our model of what we wanted to, which that hasn't changed. What we wanted to share with our people is a means and a way to put their money to work for them, to free up some of their time and elevate their life, decrease their stress, touch on the pain points. And there was some components missing in each one of them. And with each one of them, we built our community, lost it, built it, lost it, built it, lost it. So we were specifically looking for something long-term. And with every opportunity, we look who is behind it, because there are so many opportunities that appear great. And really, some of them really are great. But there's no one behind it, or they're hiding behind the website, behind the opportunity, behind everything. And immediately as we heard about Daisy, we already knew Jeremy. So we had been following him, we knew the personality, so that brought us closer. But even before that, we had been researching Endotech for over 2 years. Yeah. So we already had done our due diligence, we knew the history of Endotech, what Dr. Anna Becker has been doing since she was 18 and 20, and so we knew the who behind it. So we were already a yes. I believe it was first moment we heard like the September, before the spreadsheets came out, definitely before the launch. And so it was the people behind it, the potential of long-term sustainability. Now, that being said, we didn't know that, but we had a feeling from how it was being described. Okay, this fits everything else, and it has the potential to be long-term and sustainable. Do you want to talk about how we stayed through the beginning, through the trials and tribulations?
Yeah, and I'd just like to touch on a couple of things in the previous companies you mentioned. It's not that there were Ponzi's or anything like that, but the first one was the very steep learning curve to become a proficient manual trader. It takes elite levels of emotional discipline that you have to cultivate, but when you can basically delegate that to Anna Becker and her team to put your money, your venture capital, your risk capital to work for you, the intellectual leverage, the amount of power that has, as opposed to staying up until 4 a.m. staring at candlestick charts trying to do it yourself. Most people aren't sustainably profitable long term, so that had a big impact on what we were selling when it was in the hands of the customer themselves to produce their own results. Next was, I guess, founders and corporate staff that couldn't get their ego out of the way or get the wax out of their ears to listen to feedback from leaders who were in the trenches. You just saw a perfect example of how open and transparent and willing to hear the feedback these leaders are just 20 minutes ago.
Yes. And that's not the first time that happened. Again and again and again.
Yeah. Woo! They heard the feedback from the crowd, the object or the idea was put out there, and here we are, ready to implement it. That's quite unheard of, and they're with us. That cohesion, that unity, and that, I guess you could say, synergistic alliance that is there with the founders is something that is very important for us. To be able to build something confidently long term. And those are some of the obstacles that we faced in those previous companies, but thankfully Daisy is a model that has obliterated those obstacles.
And it was so evident in the first 6 months with the trials and the challenges and the tribulations. Every single challenge that came up, who was there telling us what's happening, telling us what's next, and making it happen, finding a solution to the problem, finding a solution to the challenge. Our 3 founders, they didn't hide behind the problem. They didn't send some representative out to face the community. They showed up again and again, and still every month there's a global update call. So that's where our consistency comes in, and that's where our community feels loyal, is because we speak highly of the founders, we show up, we take notes to them, decipher anything that's confused, and if we have something, we bring it up and we're heard, as you just saw right here as a live example for that. So that's our why. Yeah. It's so easy to share something that just fits with every aspect of who you are.
Yeah, so it's been an absolute honor and a privilege to spend some time with you here today in your beautiful city. We're very excited to continue to stay arms locked with this phenomenal leadership and the founders, and take this platform and this vision all the way to the finish line. And can't wait to really see all of this come to fruition and everything that you just heard unfold over the next 6 months. And get your tickets for Dubai, guys. You're going to want to be there.
Yeah. How exciting was that roadmap, by the way?
Woo!
Who was excited about that roadmap? When we came last evening to just get comfortable with the surroundings, and that was the first thing that we saw up on the screen, and we were so excited. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you're going to do. Present a roadmap so they feel confident. Just really speaking to all the needs of the people. So,
yeah. And I guess the last thing we'll touch on, when me and Susan now, we've probably come over 30 years combined experience in terms of direct response marketing and digital marketing specifically. But one thing that we do, and everything that you've heard, is we never really sell products themselves. Like nobody buys products. Nobody buys, weight loss pills because they love chewing on chalk. People buy access to a future version of themselves. They buy access to the way they're going to feel, and the product is simply like a bridge and a portal that takes a person from where they are to where they want to be. So, as an example, you go on Hawaiian Airlines. You want to sell the destination. When you go on Hawaiian Airlines, it doesn't show photos of, how you're going to be cramped in your seat and it won't recline. It's showing you drinking out of coconuts and hula skirts and when you're going to get to the destination. And that's what we're selling here. People aren't joining Daisy because they want to fiddle around with staking Tron. They want the outcome that all of that is going to bring them, and it's to be able to leverage their money. It's to be able to put their capital to work in something that can generate them passive rewards and passive profits, so that they can help finance or elevate the quality of their life for themselves and their families. But once you paint that picture for them, Susan, you have a good analogy about Nike that does this.
Yeah, Nike doesn't talk about what's in the shoe or how they make the shoe or even the leather on the shoe. They show you by video and just the right music, so you feel like you're there with those shoes on and the breeze is flowing through your hair and you're running like you just wish you could run. So you're buying the shoes for the experience on the other side. And that's
absolutely. So
that's definitely it. So hopefully our marketing model, maybe there was an aha moment where you can put it to work or reflect on it or pass it on. It's really the 3 R's. Reach who you think would benefit most. Reach a target audience, specific people that you would like to work with, that you would like to reach out, that you would like to share the benefit with. Relate and resonate, and all the way share the value. Thank you so much.
That's it, my friends. Thank you very much.